Yeah, g'day guys. My name is Wildkard. Ireland versus Wallabies. Big scoreline for the Irish team, 46 points to 19. I actually thought the Wallabies has a pretty good shot at an upset for this game. And, I have to give credit for the Wallabies for giving it 100%, right? They didn't just go out there and try to kick the penalties. It was up there, up against the wall. A lot of things weren't working for them, but they still pushed themselves through and try to get those tries, try to keep working to, break down the Irish defense and didn't just go, hey, let's kick a bunch of penalties and make the scoreboard look better than it is. That was one point where I thought the Wallabies probably just like a little bit away to turn the table, but couldn't quite get there. And, in the end of the game, you look around the field, the Wallabies players were absolutely off their feet. And that's kind of like all you can ask for as a fan, right? Your team gave it everything they could. Couldn't quite get the job done. Everybody's off their feet. So in terms of effort, in terms of intent, I gave it 10 out of 10 for the Wallabies. But obviously, there were a lot of issues in the lineouts. I don't think I've seen a Wallabies lineout this bad for, I don't know how many years at this point. Sometimes you change the law. There's a backfiring effect. As we saw tonight, in Super Rugby, this kind of all started. The line out not straight. If the opposition don't challenge, you get a freebie, right? And that's kind of like these sort of things may look good in the short term, but in the long term, if your players are always playing under a lack of pressure from the opposition in Super Rugby because of this law, in text rugby, when you're under pressure, you're starting to not able to get those ball in your way. And it's really clear some of these decisions that look good on paper in the short term. Oh, saves the embarrassment of one line out, being thrown not straight. When you put up against the real boys, the real big test players, you're getting exposed again and again and again. I think the line out completion rate was probably less than 50%. For the Wallabies, it was awful to see. And really, I don't know. I really think they should just get rid of it. The line out not straight and really hold players at higher standards. I mean, they're professional players. They get paid more money than 99% of people in the country. And, you got to hold a bit of accountability. Like, this is your job. All you have to do is throw a bloody ball in straight. If you can't do that, maybe, put some more effort into it, or don't play rugby, right? Or don't play a different position, or go, put some more weight on and play proper something, right? Because it is your job. And then if they have to change the law to make you look better on the field, so you don't get booed off the field by your own fans, I think that's, in the long term, it's not really good for the development of the sport and of the player as well. And you should always look up instead of look down. Hold the game to a higher level instead of in a lower level, and that will get more fans in as well. I don't think, So I think that's really starting to show very clear and obvious that the law change is not really playing out for the Wallabies, in the big stage here. So outside of that, outside of that, I thought the scrum was a bit of an iffy. So let's have a look at that for now. Actually, let's talk about the scrum, and then we'll talk about Prendergast next. So, I thought Andrew Porter coming onto the field, I thought the scrum was pretty even in the first half. But when Andrew Porter came onto the field, I do think he's a great player. He's really able to play the referee quite well in a couple of times. So this one here, clearly Porter balled in, got under the chest of Alan Alatoa and pushed him up and out. And because Alan's head popped out first, Irish got a penalty. Look at that. He's already at an angle. Like, you can see Porter in angle, and he knows that the referee can't really see it properly from his side. Gibson Park is helping him, maybe blocking the referee's vision from the touch judge here as well. And you can see Porter is already well under Alan Alatoa. It's putting him down as well. It's really, look at that. He's just giving it into straight side. That is 100% a penalty, 100% boring in. They did not go forward first. They have to take at least 1 to 2 steps forward, depending on the referee, before going sideways. So this is a really bad call from Dixon. But then he goes in, and he goes up, and he pops out Alan Alatoa. In fact, it looked like the Irish, he popped out his own hookup because of the angle that is going in. This is 100% a penalty against Porter, but the referee says it's a penalty against Alan Alatoa for standing up. That's a really bad call there by Dixon. And here's another one. Again, Porter, knowing that the referee is not on his side, like standing on the opposite side of the field, can't see what he's doing. Clearly put the scrum down here, in my opinion. So look, let's engage. It's going down. I'll have to see another angle. I'll have another replay. But Porter, you can see on the replay, we'll see it in a second. It's clearly dropped his elbow and pulled down like this onto Nongor and getting the penalty there for Ireland. So we'll see that in the replay in a sec. And again, just I think that Carl Dixon, especially on this side of the, if knowing that the scrum is having problem on this side, he should be steady on this side, having a better look at it. But look at this. Look at his right hand here. He's gonna pull, engage, and he's gonna pull straight down. Straight down. Yanked him straight down. That is 100% Porter. Porter at fault. But then again, playing the referee, knowing that, Carl Dixon on the other side, not going to be able to get to see what his hands were doing. All Carl Dixon could see was Nongo flattening, which looked like Nongo slipped. But in reality, Porter put him down. That is my opinion. So this one's a little bit harder to call, but this one is 100% Andrew Porter going in at an angle, is boring in, and should be a penalty to the Wallabies there. So yeah, a bit of 50-50 there. So let's get back to talking about some of the issues in the game. So Prendergast, again, so first of all, it's really important, everybody knows, especially at test level, to kind of figure out the weaknesses of the opposition and the strength of the opposition, and how to attack the weaknesses and how to minimize the strengths, right? I mean, I'm just some random guy on the internet, and I don't even watch Irish rugby, but I know the reason why Prendergast wasn't selected for the Lions tour is because his defense wasn't that good, and when he's under pressure, some of those razzle-dazzle magic plays that he tries to do starting to look a little bit ugly. And we saw that a bit in the Six Nations, right? So, yeah, I'm really surprised that the Wallabies didn't pressure him more. And I'm really surprised the Wallabies didn't target him in attack to make him do more tackles. So, again, that just tells me that the coaches did not identify Prendergast as a target or a threat or someone of importance out there on the field in terms of the strategic planning going into this game. So that was a little bit disappointing for me. Again, I felt like no brainer, right? He's so good with the ball in your hand. You don't pressure him. You give him space. He's just gonna kick those cross fields, do those cut out passes, finding the right options every time. If you give him too much time, and I was surprised there was no rush defense pressure on him pretty much the entire game. So I was really disappointed to see that. But if you flip the table on the opposite end, it was pretty clear the Irish has studied the Wallabies in terms of their weakness. Something that, we all talked about here in this channel is the Wallabies' ability under the high ball has been pretty bad. And again, it's just bad habits been building up for the Wallabies. With Swali as well, the expectations for the Wallabies is a lot of times just put the ball up and then just hit the ball back to your own side, and that's considered good enough. Again, if you don't hold a higher level for your professional players, you're not gonna, the opposition will just eat you alive. And the Irish has identified that and just really played the kicking game, made it really difficult. And then when it's raining, when it's wet, hitting the ball back, creating a loose ball behind your own defensive line is just not good enough. And then just the fact that you haven't been asked consistently to try to catch the ball on the full, it's just a mess out there for the Wallabies. And the Irish was able to just constantly bomb those midfields to really no threat of a counter attack from the Wallabies, no threat of the Wallabies doing anything in terms of kicking threats in return, and just really control that kicking game exceptionally well. And the Wallabies just didn't have anything to answer to that. And again, I just felt like the opposition studied what were weak from us, and we did not do anything to really try to exploit any weaknesses from the Irish side. Yeah, so that's my thoughts there. But overall, yeah, I thought, in terms of effort, the Wallabies definitely given it there. And, just one last thing. I know a lot of the Wallabies players has been in and out of the team, going over, playing overseas and whatnot. Um, this, yeah, I really felt like, if you look at the Springboks, if in fact, if you look at the England team, they build their team towards the bigger matches, right? They use the easier games to give some of the positions that they want to try out time. And then when you get to the big games, they will decide, hey, did what we try to achieve in those little games, do we get anything out of, are we happy with some of the stuff we try to do in the easier games? And is it good enough to use those strategies in the big games against the All Blacks or against the Springboks or whatever, right? So you can see these teams build week from week. They take little pieces from one week, bring it to the next, and then take out other pieces not working and swap in new players for it, and then they build up towards the big match. And the Wallabies literally look like two different teams that was put onto the field from week and week, and there was no consistent progression in key areas of the team going into the big games from week, and thus you get this thing where this team is arguably the best team the Wallabies can fetch right now, and yet it looked just broken apart. And it not surprised. A lot of these players, like James O'Connor, hasn't played in a starting position for over a month. Could you believe it at this point? And then you have Nikitau hasn't played for probably like a month as well. Yeah, and no wonder. Like, and then the players that were that did stay consistently didn't improve on the areas that needs to be improved. The line-out was horrendous, right? Like, didn't really improve in the areas that needs to be improved. And then you bring your core players back. The tide did not go up. The tide just stayed at the same level because the tide actually was going down. And the return of the team, the big players, only just brought the tide back up to the slightly up from where it was before, and it didn't raise everything up to a significant level. But yeah, again, I didn't think that this was again. I think that the coaching, the planning, it needs to be better from the coaches, especially when it comes to longer term planning. James O'Connor is 35. He's going to be 37. He could potentially play the Rugby World Cup. You're going to make the decision now, right? You want him in a Rugby World Cup. You got to build him towards it. You got to look after him, right? Put him on a contract and literally, like they do with Johnny Sexton, and not play to keep him preserved, and then gave him game time. And it's a lot of planning that goes into it. And if you don't think he's going to make it, then pull the trigger for the next guy. Really have to start making those decisions today for the Wallabies going into the future. But anyway, let's have a look at the match stats of the game in this match. 6 tries to 3 for the Irish. 420 run, 420, bro. 420 run meters for the Irish. 256 for the Wallabies. 124 carries for the Ireland. 99 for the Wallabies. 20 defenders beaten for the Irish. A lot of that came in at the end of the game. 10 for the Wallabies. 12 passes for the Irish. 12 turnovers conceded for the Irish. 18 against the Wallabies. 120 tackles made to Ireland. Like only 10 missed tackles. That is really, really good. Wallabies 138. 20 missed tackles. A lot lower on the completion rate. 45 kicks in play for the Irish. Like, they just really took advantage of the weather, took advantage of the wet conditions, and identifying the Wallabies' lack of prowess under the high ball and just abused that. 25 for the Wallabies for themselves. 1 missed conversion each for both teams. 1,159 kick meters from the Irish. 703 for the Wallabies. Kick meters. Lineouts, 10 for the Irish. No lineouts lost. 13 for the Wallabies. 6 lost. And that's straight stolen. There were lineouts that were just like untidy, going overthrown. Oh man, it was painful. It was painful to watch. And a lot of these lineouts lost were like inside the 22, in the strike zone. And it's just, oh man, I wanted to punch my TV a couple times watching those. Scrums, 0 loss out of 10. Wallabies, only 3 feeds, 0 loss. There was a couple penalties, definitely, for Andrew Porter's handiwork. 9 penalties conceded for the Irish, 8 for the Wallabies. Is 1 shoulder to head on Nick Frost. Might be a 20-minute red card, so we'll have to see if he's gonna get cited. But yeah, it was a shoulder to the head on Clarkson without the ball as well. So definitely a yellow card at a review, but we didn't get a result before the game was over. So yeah, it is what it is. 46 points, 19. Let's do a quick recap of the game. Mac Hansen, the greatest Wallaby out there on the field tonight. Unfortunately, we're in the wrong color. You know, he was again with the help of Prendergast. I have to give credit to Prendergast for the hat trick for Hansen as well. 6 minutes in the game, Irish had a penalty, did a quick tap, lots of crash balls. Gibson Park took lots of crash balls, center field. Hands came out, just really brilliant hands from every player. And then what's his name? Hansen got the ball, found himself a space straight through under the post for the try. 7 points to 0. 10 minutes in the game, another. There was a scrum, another try for Ireland, almost looked identical. There was a scrum, the ball went out, a little backdoor play for Prendergast, and Prendergast, I think there was a cutout to Prendergast, for Gibson to Prendergast, and Prendergast, another cutout to picking out Hansen in the running line. Again, straight through center of the field, almost identical. I felt like I was watching a replay. Hansen went through under the post, second try, 14 points to 0. The rush defense of Wallabies, literally, I wrote down here, was giving Prendergast way too much time and not really pressuring him at all. 17 minutes in the game, the Wallabies had an opportunity for themselves. They did not go for the 3 points. They went for the line out. Lots of crash ball. And then eventually Len Ikedau got the ball center field. He did actually ran through Prendergast. Right? He did actually run through Prendergast. Could not tackle him for the try. Again, I felt like they should do that a lot more in this game. 14 points to 7. 25 minutes, also 50-22. I'm pretty sure this was a ball that was high ball. Again, knocked back by Ireland team into their own 20-50, and they kicked the 50-22, and this was given to Ireland's 50-22. Okay, whatever. So following this, Mac Hansen gets a hat-trick. Again, the Irish was, what happened here? Yeah, so there was, again, a lot of Irish pressure on the left-hand side of the field. There was a kick pass across the field to the other winger. What's his name? He's a bit of a new guy. It was a kick pass to Tommy O'Brien. Yeah, and Tommy just like left the ball behind. He kind of like, left the ball behind. It wasn't a knock on, and Hansen just scooped the ball up, just ran straight through a gap in front of him for the try. 19 points to 7, 27 minutes in, already got his hat trick. 38 minutes again. Again, the Wallabies had opportunity to kick goals. They did not do that, which I was really happy. They went for the line out. They went for the more. There was a penalty warning as well. So the Wallabies, after the more, piled in midfield. And eventually the big boys pushed each other through. McRae gets in for the try. 19 points to 14, half time. Second half, more lineouts were stolen early on. There was, the Porter Boring toy incident after that. 55 minutes. There was a penalty advantage to Ireland, and Prendergast hits a drop goal. Yeah, like 35 meters out, 22 points to 14. Like, I find it interesting. No, like you don't see a drop goal for like years in Test rugby, and suddenly today we saw 3 drop goals in 3 different games. I mean, 4 drop goals in 3 different games at least. I haven't seen the other 2 games yet, so there might be more tonight. So just suddenly everyone's kicking drop goals. Actually, what's his name? Polar's drop goal was denied, but still, like everybody started doing drop goals all of a sudden. This was a bit of a stalemate, so I don't mind this one. So what was it? Prendergast gets the drop goal. Yeah, gets the drop goal here, 22 points to 14 to break the stalemate a little bit. 61 minutes, there was a collapsing of the scrum. They kick another one, 25 points to 14. 69 minutes, there was, and again, another high ball that was recovered by the Irish. Lots of pressure down the middle of the field, and eventually, Caelan Doris gets a nice angle, crashed over for the try. 32 points to 14. 73 minutes of the game. The Wallabies finally get some more pressure inside the 22 and didn't get the ball stolen. They went for the line out. They went for a more. There was penalty advantage. There was, a penalty advantage. They tap a go again. Lots of crash ball. And then Billy Pollard picked the ball up, ran down the blind side and crashed over for the try. 32 points to 21. 77 minutes in the game. There was a Irish line out. They crashed in the field. Lots of forward start rolling through in the middle of the field with pick and goes and crash balls. And eventually, Robbie Henshaw, I believe it was, rolls around, goes in for the try. Is it Henshaw or is it Baird? And no, Baird goes in for the try. 39 points to the 19 here. And after this, on 80 minutes, just last minute of the game, Ireland gets one last try. Again, 20 meters out. They're just shifting the ball to the right, and the Wallaby players look all exhausted. Coming back to the middle of the field, Gibson Park crossfield kick to Henshaw, running for the try. 46 points, 19. Yeah, just comprehensive, outstanding, clinical, and just exceptional kicking game that the Wallabies was not able to handle at all. Yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys. Yeah, see you guys later for maybe more reviews. Cheers.